Mabitaw. As we forgive those who sin against us, do not bring us to the test, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Spirit, amen. Good morning, Ma'am Shi. Ay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ma'am Sheryl. Okay, so good day, class again. Before we proceed, before we begin our discussion, let's start with a quick activity to warm up your minds. We'll play the game called Scrambled Words, and I show the word on the screen, and you try to figure out what the correct word is. And raise your hand if you know the answer. Each correct items earns a point. Okay, are you ready? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Okay, let's start. Portfolio. Okay, ready ka? Portfolio.
Assessment.
Johan. Assistant. Okay, very good.
Collection.
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 Collection, gini. Collect. Collection. Okay, good job. Good job, class. So we're big thinkers. Wow. As you have noticed, the words we just unscrambled like portfolio, assessment, and collection are all connected to our lesson for today that is called portfolio assessment. So let me ask you, Juliet, have you ever have you ever collected your schoolwork or in one folder or file before?
Yes.
Okay. And that collection of your work is actually what we call as portfolios. And when teachers use that to see how you're doing in class, it is called portfolio assessment. And today, we will explore what portfolio assessment is. But before that, we have our learning objectives. Please read this to the name.
Learning objectives. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to define what portfolio assessment is, differentiate portfolio assessment from portfolio collection.
Okay, thank you, Jessa. Okay, so portfolio, it refers to the collection of projects and
widely used in assessing and measuring the progress of the students. It documents the process of learning and the changes that occur during the process.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so when you are having this portfolio, especially for practice portfolio and showcase portfolio, you have to really prepare when you ask your students, you have to prepare this you have to prepare the set of criteria for the rubric in order for you to rate the set of portfolio The student is B. Here in portfolio assessment, that is to promote development to bridge the lucky or gap. So portfolio collection of demonstrated ability. And then for the portfolio assessment, to document ability because as what I have said earlier, portfolio assessment happens from very beginning until the last or the end of the semester. Portfolio collection for conferencing and portfolio for portfolio assessment, knowing that the progress of the students is for you to that is for you as a teacher to modify the instruction. And lastly, for in portfolio collection, it is for reporting and portfolio assessment to adapt curriculum. So, in short, the portfolio collection is the gathering of student work, and it includes all types of outputs like assignment, projects, drawing, and quizzes. And the goal of the portfolio collection is to collect evidence of what the student has done. And in portfolio assessment, this is when the collected work is evaluated or assessed. The teacher chooses the best or most meaningful works and checks if learning outcomes are achieved. And in portfolio assessment, it includes reflection, feedback,